Good evening, good afternoon, friends. Omega Pyramid Dallas, PSSM Corporate, and Pyramid Valley International welcome all of you to day 228 of Stillness Beat, your daily dose of meditation and wisdom. Today being the weekend, Sunday, we have masterclass, and we will have it with along with Sagar sir, and he'll be taking us through a subject. So before we get into the conversation, let's meditate as usual. So to take us through the meditation, I invite Sunil. Good morning, Sunil.
Good morning, Prithvi. Good
Yes.
morning, everyone, and good evening, good afternoon, everyone, those who have joined from different parts of the globe. All right, let us meditate. Gather yourself, sit comfortably wherever you are. Just pay attention to everything around and let us accept all that is as it is. Let us set no expectations from the meditation because every meditation is going to be unique. Now, bring your awareness to the place where you are sitting. Sit comfortably. If you are sitting on the floor, cross your legs. If you're sitting on a chair or a sofa, cross your feet. If anyone is wearing spectacles, you may remove them. Clasp your fingers, just interlock fingers into fingers and place them on your lap. And slowly close your eyes. Now, bring your awareness to your body. Sthira Sukhasana. Let us first put the body to rest. Take the back support if needed. Let us ensure the body is relaxed from head to toe. Relax your forehead, your eyebrows, your chin. Relax your neck. Relax your upper back, lower back, thigh muscles, the calf muscles, the crossed feet, your arms, and the clasped fingers. Just loosen them a bit. Just be restful. Now the body is relaxed. Now bring your attention from your body to your breath. Do not alter your breath. Just breathe naturally. Notice the breath wherever you feel like, at the nostrils or the abdomen. Let it flow in and flow out naturally. We are not doing anything here. All we do is just observe this naturally ingoing and outgoing breath. And this is Ana-Pana-Sati meditation. Ana meaning ingoing, Apana is outgoing, and Sati meaning being with the breath. No chanting of mantra needed, no japa, nothing whatsoever. No visualization of any deity or any symbol. For the next 40 minutes, it is just being with our own breath. At this point of time, there is only one thing that can come in between your observation of your breath, and that is our own mind. Just like any other body organ, mind has its role. So it will think, it will bring thoughts, emotions, which is okay. Do not resist. Do not get carried away with it. But for next 40 minutes, as much as possible, cut those thoughts or park those thoughts away, just like you park your vehicle. You can take it later on if needed after meditation. For now, it's just being with the breath. We will play music in the background, but let all our attention be with the breath. Cut the thoughts and come back to your breath. Madhima. Please come back to your breath, Midi Masters. Please cut the thoughts and come back to your breath, my dear masters. Please be with your breath, my dear masters. Last few minutes. Wonderful mantra. Let us now slowly bring our attention to our heart base and let us say the Ho'oponopono statements. I am sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I am sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. I am sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. Let us be in this state for a few moments. Let us now bring our attention to the four agreements. Let us be impeccable with our words because words are like arrow leaving the bow. Let us be mindful about this. Let us not take anything personally. Let us not make any assumptions, ask questions than assuming. Let us always do our best in whatever we do. And let us always do our best to follow these four agreements. Let us now bring the intention for the day. Let us intend firstly for ourselves, our well being, our mindfulness about our thought, speech, and action. Let us intend all these that we do are connected to the purpose of our life. And secondly, let us intend for the manifestation of Omega Pyramid in the USA. Let us intend millions of people are benefiting by meditating under the Mega Omega Pyramid. And all these efforts are leading to creating heaven on Mother Earth. Thank you, Masters. Now, slowly bring your attention back to your body. And as and when you're comfortable, slowly open your eyes and give a big smile to yourself. Thank you so much for meditating together, my masters. Over to you, Putri.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sunil. That was really a very tranquil, peaceful meditation. Thank you for taking us through that. And friends, hope all of us are back from meditation. So let us get into the next part of the program, having a conversation with our master, Sai Krupa Sagar sir. So today he's going to take us through the topic wise living through stillness. So we all know him. We have been waiting for his session. So let us all welcome Sagar sir to Stillness Beat. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning, Prithvi. Good morning, Sunil. Good morning, Vikhal. Good morning, entire team of Stillness Beats. Namaste. And this is what 200 and what is the day today of Stillness Beats?
228, sir.
228th day of Stillness Beats. Wow, amazing. And thanks, Sunil, for that wonderful meditation. Really nice. And yeah, I've been seeing a lot of Osho topics being covered over the last week, I guess, right? So I just went through what's happening. So nice to be back on Stillness Retreat, Stillness Beats. I'm just thinking Stillness Retreat. So nice to be back on Stillness Beats. Last month, I couldn't be in there something else on that particular Sunday, but I was always ready. Anytime Prithvi asked me to speak, I was ready to speak on any of the Sundays after that. So appreciate all your constant attendance on Stillness Beat. So today, as you know, I've been doing the stillness retreats. The one of the stillness, the most recent one, got over last Sunday, and been talking about stillness. And I know the entire team has been talking about stillness and this whole practice of bringing us into stillness, right? But the whole point, what is the point of stillness? What do we do? I mean, how is it going to change our life, or how are we going to live our life once we get into stillness, and what is stillness going to help is what I want to kind of cover today. Quickly, let me share. Be able to see the deck? Okay. So I'm going to talk about this topic called wise living through stillness. All right. And before I begin, I just want to get some points, what each one of you think. What do we mean by wise living? In your words, what do we mean by wise living? We've all heard conscious living, living is with awareness. What is wise living in your words? Anybody? I know you've just been through a meditation session, calming meditation session. What is wise living? Am I seeing messages? Okay. Peaceful and full of consciousness. Wonderful. That's conscious living. Act with right knowledge. Very good. Wise living. Living in truth. Living to get satisfaction. Yes. So wonderful. So let's get into it. Thanks for the responses. All of it is correct. So wise living, when we say wise living, it's not generally what we name, like peace of mind or right decisions, no regrets, harmony with others, which is what anyway meditation and all the practices that happens. But wise living is all to do with the wise choices that we make in life. Every moment, every minute, every day, we make a lot of choices. Could be regarding to career, could be regarding to just the way of living, just could be related to what I eat, how much I eat, right? So everything. So what it actually is, what happens in the gap between the trigger, between what arrives from anywhere, could be your intention, could be your thought, could be a noise outside, between what arrives and what you do. Almost everything that we typed almost becomes an outcome, right? In terms of peaceful living, conscious living. So wise living is about the quality of processing. And that's what we've heard about conscious living. So if you look at it, there are different ways where we connect to a particular moment, right? First one, most of us are probably out of it for 80% of the time, reactive, reacting to the moment, reacting to the situation, right? And impulsive mode, right? So basically anything that prompts us to react in return from in response to a trigger. Most of us are beyond that because we've been practicing meditation for a long time and we are on the 220th day and all that. For those of you who joined us on January 1st, but a lot of us, I know, we've been practicing meditation. So we all beyond the reactive state for most part of the time. There are still days when we tend to be reactive, and that's where acceptance and equanimity comes in. And then there is the conditioned way of responding to a moment, right? Where habit, our role, our expectation, the past patterns, all that help, all that drive our response to the particular moment. So it's all based on I spoke about in one of the sessions, the samskaras, the conditioned patterns. And then we talk about the conscious way of responding, conscious living. So reactive living, conditioned living, conscious living, where awareness is present, the gap opens and nothing comes through, right? So awareness is present, there is a gap. So we are in complete presence. We choose our response, right? Wise living is about choosing the right response. That's what we mean. So wise living is about awareness plus discernment plus courage to act. So we can be wonderfully peaceful all the time, and we can know what needs to be done. For example, when there is a trigger, I have a gap, and then I know what I need to respond. I might respond, right? But responding sometimes needs courage, and then responding just alone does not live the same way, right? You have to act. There is a behavior change that needs to happen that needs courage. So wise living is about converting your peaceful mind that arises through stillness into conscious, into what do you say, wise action. That's what it is. So that is where it's awareness plus discernment plus courage, right? And that is where you get clear, you are clear about what needs to be done. And most of the time we don't do it. Wise living is about doing what needs to be done at that particular time. And as you know, that needs courage more than knowing as well. So we move up and down these times. It's not like, okay, I've been meditating for 20 years. I am like at a conscious level, or now I am a wise young yogi, right? So we keep transcending all these levels at different points of time. Like Buddha said, nothing is permanent, right? There are moments when the trigger from your daughter, from your parent, from your spouse happens, and then you do unconsciously react, which is okay, right? There are sometimes when a colleague or a boss talks to us, then our response is a lot more conditioned based on the pattern. And there are times where we are conscious of what we are doing, and there are times where we do wisely follow up, right? So, and a lot of times, again, the question for reflection for all of us, a lot of times we know exactly what to do, but haven't done it. All of us have been, right? So we know exactly what to do, but haven't done it. I've been guilty of a lot of times in the meeting. I know I want to talk about this. I know I want to speak about my idea, right? But I don't. I pull back because my conditioned mind used to say, "Oh, what is this stupid idea, Sagar? If you talk about it, people will anyway ignore it. What is the point of opening your mouth?" But then there were moments when my mind was silent, when that noise was not there in my head. I used to talk about the idea, and people used to accept it, though however small or however simple the idea was, right? And we all have done this. We know what exactly need to be done, and we haven't done it. And the reason is there is this gap between clarity and action. So generally we talk about responding instead of reacting. That in the gap allows us to respond instead of react. Now I am moving one step ahead in terms of action. Most of us already know the wise thing to do, but we just don't do it. That is because the gap is not between confusion and clarity, we know. It is between clarity and action. And that gap has two halves, knowing what to do, what is wise, and actually doing it. So the whole objective of all spiritual practices is transformation. What is transformation? Transformation means it has to result in a change of behavior. I need to be doing something different from what I was doing earlier if it was not benefiting for me. Right? It's not just about in the thoughts. It's not just about in the way I feel. Right? So it's an inside out transformation. Now I've kind of transformed inside. I know what needs to be done, but then there is a gap between knowing what to do, understanding this is what I need to do, and then doing it. That's what wise living through stillness actually means. And we all know a lot of books talk about it, the sutras talk about it, and the modern authors like Deepak Chopra, Joe Dispenza, everyone talk about it. The intelligence is already flowing. Right? We don't need to acquire anything. So nowadays I keep saying all these wisdom sessions, we don't need all these wisdom sessions, someone to come and tell us. We don't need to be reading tons of books. Only thing is that's kind of adding a lot more stuff to our heads, right? What we need is to kind of let go of those lot of things that are obstructing this flow of intelligence. Intelligence to us doesn't need to come from books. Of course, they allow us to shift our, our frame of mind, right? So wisdom is not something we manufacture. Quantum, Deepak Chopra in his book Quantum Body talks about how creative intelligence keeps flowing from a source. And we know in sutras and in yogic wisdom, we are the wisdom, right? We are intelligence, we are clarity, we are love, we are compassion. So what is obstructing that intelligence is what we are trying to remove. As you see here, the sun is always shining. Nobody needs to produce that light, but what obstructs the light reaching to us is the clouds. Similarly, we are the site where we receive wisdom, but for us to express wisdom, there are a few things that obstruct that particular wisdom to be shining through us, right? So what are those? The question is not how do I become wiser? We are all wise, but it is about what is obstructing it. We all know what is obstructing it. And we probably heard this in several different ways. And I call them the four noises, right? We have the mental noise, there is an emotional noise, there's a physical noise, and then the behavioral noise, the gap between clarity and action, right? So let's quickly go through this. I'm sure you all heard about all these in different ways. So mental noise, we all know this, right? Stories, assumptions, worry, regret, arguments, conditioned patterns. The mind produces a version, we all talk about it. Mind produces a version of the events, and it may not be the true picture. It will be the colored picture. It will be the story that the mind must be telling around the event. Right? Again, as Buddha talks about it, there are two arrows every time there is an incident happens. Right? First is the actual event or the incident, and the second is the story that our mind tells about the event. For example, I have a headache. Having a headache, throbbing pain somewhere in my head is the event. But mind concocts a story. Oh my God, I can't be doing this. Why does this headache has to come today when I have to do this key important meeting, important decision making, or I need to prepare for a presentation, right? So that kind of adds to the pain, enhances the pain, that causes suffering, right? For example, we've all been through this example, right? So I send a message to somebody or an email to somebody, and he or she does not respond. I'm sure all of us have passed beyond that stage. So suddenly our mind keeps thinking, oh, why did he not respond? And now with WhatsApp, you will get single tick, blue tick, two ticks, everything. Oh, he's seen the message. I hear that from my daughter. So you see that she saw the message, but she's not responded, right? So that's what the mind keeps telling. And then if there's some incident happened with that particular person the day before, then the mind concocts a lot of stories. Maybe he or she was annoyed with me, or he doesn't respect, or how what is he doing that busy things that he doesn't even find time to respond. So the fact and the story, right? And in practitioners like us, how does this mental noise disguise? Oh, I need to follow the sutras. I need to follow the Ana-Pana-Sati practice, spiritual analysis, interpreting our experience instead of having it. Again, Patriji's, what to say, words, do not analyze experiences, right? Interpreting your experience instead of feeling the experience, narrating the practice while doing it, sophisticated rumination, right? So basically, again, spiritual practitioners have a different level of mental noise, right? So we all know too many things about astral travel, this experiences, vision experiences. We all keep hearing questions in our sessions, right? So there is a different level of noise, different category of noise. For a teenager, it's a different level of noise. For a householder, it's a different level of noise. For a professional, it's a different level of noise, right? So the key, you understand that, right? So mental noise is basically all the mental chatter. And for a lot of us, for people like me, I mean, I know we deal with multiple threads of noise at a particular point of time, and which is exactly what meditation allowed me to calm, allowed me to still. Like Patanjali says, stilling the waves of our mind through meditation and spiritual practice. So that is mental noise. And then the emotional noise. Like I've covered this earlier in terms of mindfulness of feelings, the feeling tone. So these are the five kleshas that Patanjali talks about, right? Fear, attraction, aversion, resentment, defensiveness, approval seeking. All these are the colors that are triggered by the mental noise. The feeling is not the problem. Not seeing that the feeling is shaping your behavior, shaping your response, shaping your subsequent thoughts is the problem, right? The feeling, the emotion colors the story more about it. The problem is never that you felt angry. The problem is not noticing that anger is now resulting in the words that you speak, resulting in the behavior that happens subsequent to that. Calm can be that avoidance for practitioners, equanimity, right? So a lot of us, what we do, okay, I'm something incorrect or wrong is happening, let's say in a meeting or outside of a meeting. And then for us practitioners, we feign equanimity. Oh, don't need to be disturbed about it. I don't need to be doing anything about it. Things will work out by its own, right? So calm is actually avoidance. Calm that is actually avoidance, right? And we feel we are not attached to it. With detachment, that is actually a version wearing better clothes. Detachment, I mean, not acting on it, not responding, not fixing things. And again, a lot of people ask in meditation, once I become very calm and equanimous, shouldn't I shouldn't I tell someone who's not doing a thing right? Shouldn't I not feel angry? Should I not tell them that you're not doing right? Right. So that again is another kind of emotional noise for people who are more into the spiritual practice, right? And quiet comparison. Oh, he's a master. He's a 10-year-old master, 20-year-old master. I am a newbie meditator who is progressing, who was asked to teach, who sits longer, whatever, right? So this is this is more about the feelings that color action, color our thoughts, color our behavior. A sharply worded message. We've all seen that. And an email arrives. We get an email from somebody, right? Though the intention of that person who's mailing might be different, immediately because of several things, our mind creates a story. Oh, he dared to respond that way. Maybe he's accusing me of something, right? Maybe he thinks that I did not do the right word, right? Immediately we get that feeling of anger. And what do? Immediate response. And sometimes, okay, so there is this gap between the response, the trigger and the response. We take some time, we write it, but then we send it after some time, right? But where is that coming from? And then you get to know that the person sent that particular email in a totally different, from a totally different perspective. So that's emotional noise. And then the physical noise. Again, a lot of us do not, bother about it. What is physical noise? This is where mindfulness of body helps. So fatigue, tension, shallow breathing, lack of enough sleep, restlessness. Right? The body registers the truth of the experience long before the mind has words for it. And that's a very important observation. The way we need to be listening to our body. As they say, the body registers, the body will give you the signals a few seconds, few milliseconds before the mind or your feeling even tells you. In fact, recently I was talking about it. There was a research done in the US, one of the universities. So on people who are gambling, and they wired the skin conductance to their body, and then they were measuring depending on how he was working with the cards, how much of risk he was taking with the cards, right? And what that research says is the body, there was a change in the skin conductance showed by the body almost 30 cards before this person played the risky move in gambling. Right? So what it is the body knows what the mind is going to do a few milliseconds before the mind, you get the mental noise and then the emotional noise. Right? So that's why that is why physical noise is very important. That is why your breathing, being aware of our breathing is very important. That is why sleep is important. That is the right type of food, the right portion of food, the right periodicity of having food is very important. Exercise, movement is so important, right? So the body registers, so only then only then the body will be telling you the right signal. And when the mind is still, you'll be able to listen to that signal through the feeling tones, right? And then I keep talking about this meeting where I had to close a deal, but then we didn't move on because I didn't feel good about that particular client or particular meeting, the way we were going through, right? So that's where intuition, one of the biggest levers for for each one of us to use intuitions well is you should feel that in your body. And when your stomach is full with a lot of spicy food, the body will give you a different feeling tone. And we shouldn't be mistaking it for the feeling tone that what we are doing is wrong, right? So that is why it's very important we maintain our body well. So discipline, overriding the body signal and calling it commitment again. So I know, and I've been guilty of it, and a lot of us probably keep doing it, right? Tiring our body, not listening to our body. Oh, every day I need to do something at 5 o'clock. I need to do something irrespective of whatever happened the previous night or previous day, right? So overriding the body signal, calling it commitment. Rising early on insufficient sleep, treating depletion as something to sit through. So again, a lot of us speak of self-love. This is all. So we need to take care of our body, take care of our mind before we can be useful to anybody else outside. And why is it important? The decision we make when we are tired is a lot more different. The consequences of that is going to be a lot more different than a decision that you make in the morning with good rest, good restful sleep. That's why we say, let me sleep over it and then figure out what it is, right? So so that's why the physical noise is important. So we talked about three noises, right? Mental noise, which is our condition, patterns, habits, everything, emotional noise or feeling, and then the physical noise, which is our body, the importance of our body not being tired. So all these, if you look at it, all these noises are the opposite of what stillness does, right? Stillness clears those noise. The mental movement, the feeling fluctuation, there's a movement, and the physical body, there are a lot of disturbances, and that's what stillness calms down. And now coming to the important behavioral noise, right? And behavioral noise, the other three, the mental noise, the emotional noise, and the physical noise, color, distort what we see, right? They are the colored glasses through which we see. If my body is tired, I just want to take a quick decision. Let me get over it. And that results your behavior, right? This one, the behavioral noise distorts what you do. Though we might be able to see clearly through our stillness practices, but because there is this behavioral noise, I'm not able to do, I don't want to do, it distorts what we do. I know what I need to do, but I'm not doing it, right? This is the noise that meditation does not touch. You can have 30 years of practice, a perfectly accurate view of situation, and still not do the thing that needs to be done. So for example, we all know leaders and members who've been, who are known for their values, who are known for giving independence. I mean, independence in the sense autonomy, freedom for their teams to work, right? But when the moment comes, when the project is late, the deadline is tomorrow, then automatically he or she starts micromanaging. Oh, is it done? Is it done? Right? So the behavioral, the stillness and the wisdom doesn't translate to behavior. That's what we keep saying, that, oh, he's been meditating for so long, but he still acts weird. He still does things which are not befitting a transformed person, right? The clarity was real. He talks great. He talks wonderfully well and he counsels people well. But when it comes to him, the action doesn't happen, right? So that is the noise that goes through what I call as discernment. I know I need to do, but why am I not able to do? That's what happens when we kind of talk about reflection and things like that. So I'll talk more about the practice. The behavioral noise is basically this, right? And again, one of the books, Deepak Chopra clearly talks about how intention translates into action. Intention happens. Intention, I call it as a chain, right? So intention happens either at the source or in your mind, somewhere the intention happens. And then it needs to pass through several layers, right? First thing is at a mental noise, do I know it is correct or not correct? Then at the behavioral noise, do I feel I need to do this? Right? And then is it something that I need to do? Do I wholeheartedly do it? Right? And then I need to have the energy to do. He talks about the same things from the koshas, from the different koshas. The Vijnanamaya kosha is the mental clarity for you to do, right? And the Manomaya kosha is this mind, the whole feeling that I need to do this particular activity, enthusiasm. I need to have that enthusiasm to do, right? And the pranamaya kosha needs to give you the energy, right? I know everything I need to do, but my body doesn't have the energy to do that particular thing at that particular time, right? So that is the pranamaya kosha. Then the physical body translates into whatever needs to be done in a material world, whatever reflects to do it, right? So the that's what behavioral noise is about. Behavioral noise, but how do you what is it that is preventing you from acting, though you know what you need to act, right? And the noises feed each other, and you do not have to find you don't need to go into an analysis of what is the kind of noise that's preventing me from doing. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, but I've not been able to do. So you don't need to figure out why. So any of the one noise you figure out, then obviously, for example, if you feel your body stressful, just relaxing your body allows you to kind of shift your state of mind, right? So the a lot of scriptures, Gita and Yoga Sutra, Bhagavad Gita and Yoga Sutras describe exactly this as a chain, right? There is this thinking that happens, there is an attachment, then there is a desire, then there's anger, delusion, and ultimately resulting in not having to do what we need to do. So okay, so we'll skip that. So, what are the steps that we need to add to a practice of meditation? Right? Again, here I talk about this concept of still center or still point, and choices are made around the rim of this wheel. I'll talk about it. Right? So you return, and then this is center part is our still point, our still center, where we are calm, where our mind is still, our body, we are able to kind of be aware of our be aware of our mental noise, be aware of our emotional noise. I know what to do, right? But the actual doing happens around the rim of the wheel. You do not stop the wheel because every moment we make the choice. Every moment we keep on deciding what I need to do. And if you look at it, that wheel has these 5 parts. Recognize the noise, calm your mind, or calm your mind, your body, your emotions, that's settling down, and then engage that particular time in focus or presence. I'll talk about it, and then discern what I need to do, and then you act. This is something that happens every moment of the time. Like Patanjali says, this is the abhyasa that we need to go through. And this is what we talk about mindful moments. This is what we talk about conscious living. Right? Every moment we are conscious. When we talk about wise living, it moves your consciously knowing what needs to be done to action. That is the only difference, right? So 5 moves, 1 to 3 is something that we've all been practicing, right? We know this is what is happening in my mind, and I know there is a method for me to calm and still my mind, and then I know whether I need to engage in focus or presence, and then we will quickly go through these. Um, so recognizing, right? So recognizing whether it is fact or story, what is my manding. So we all know the moment we are agitated, we know whether there is some noise happening. either in our physical body, in our feelings, or in our mental body, right? Mind. So which noise? Then only thing is what is the noise telling me, right? Is it coming from a conditioned pattern, my samskaras? Is it coming from fear or attachment or aversion, right? Or is it coming more because I'm feeling tired? And then, so what do you do? Settling is basically, I mean, this example talks about in the moment, right? You just observe your body, your feet on the floor, you lengthen your exhale in the moment, stillness practices, right? You soften your body. Or if you're able to do some kind of a slow, equal, long breathing. Or you can just get into a meditation. For important decisions, obviously you'll go calmer, go sit for a half an hour meditation and then think about what we need to do. So I'm not going to delve too much into recognizing and settling, right? And then engaging. What do we do? Every moment, there are two modes of engaging with every moment. Number one is presence, which is what we all know. I need to be completely aware of what I am doing. That is presence. And the second activity that we do is we analyze things. I need to plan a vacation. I need to prepare a presentation. I need to jot down points for a discussion, right? Or I need to kind of plan a retreat, whatever it is, right? So we need to engage, we need to analyze. That is where we use our intellect, the skills that we've learned, the languages that we learned. I am a software programmer. When I am writing a program, what is needed? I need focus, not presence. I can't just, of course, now with all the AI tools, I can just type in a few sentences and AI does the work. I can just be in presence. But otherwise, you need to do the work, right? You need focus. What is the right prompt to give the AI, right? What is the right words that you need to mention, right? So engagement is about being in focus. Focus is about freedom to think deliberately. Again, this answers a lot of questions that people say, when I do meditation, I become so calm. You say, I need to be in the present moment. I need to be aware. I need to be still. Then what about those times when I need to analyze with my logical mind, right? So focus is the freedom to think deliberately, think what you want to think at that particular time. That's where definition, analysis, read, sufficiency, and all that. And presence is the freedom not to think unnecessarily. Like Patriji says, that is what is be a master. That is what being a master of your mind, right? The ability to think when I need to, the ability to stop thinking when I don't need to. So focus and presence, right? So here's an example. A team member is, let's say, team member is visibly upset. You all need to discuss and then finalize something to be presenting to your boss. All of us have been through it, right? But when a team member is absolutely upset, he cannot do something. We cannot ask him to focus, analyze, do these things, right? What is needed at that point of time for him is presence. Observe himself, take a few deep breaths, right? Bring him or her to a settling mode. I mean, he should do it himself, right? And then the budget or the whatever discussion that we're going to have, that needs focus and attention. Only when the entire team is coherent, is in a calm frame of mind, all of them agree on what needs to be done, right? Then the subsequent discussion results in some valid, meaningful results. Otherwise, it doesn't need, and that is what happens when the team is not coherent, it doesn't translate into action. When people say, oh, I told you, it will not work, and it will not work. Because the team needs to be coherent. And I've seen personally in a lot of situations how having a team coherent enough is very important for the success of any initiative or any project, right? So stillness is not the opposite of thinking. It is a ground of clear thinking. When you are still, I know when here, this is a situation I need to focus. For example, let me say I'm going to have this difficult conversation with my one of my daughters, right? You know what the conversation is about. Conversation is about not using your mobile for long during the day. What does it need? Does it need focus? Does it need presence? It needs both. First, I need to be present enough to be observing my pain body, to observing my reactions to what is going to come. Then I need to focus on what the person is saying, what my daughter is going to, the judgments, the arguments, right? Only when I'm that presence, the intelligence flows through me. Otherwise, it will be a conditioned response. Oh, you didn't do it. You've not been doing it for the last 6 months. Every time we keep telling you it's not, we know that's not going to work with the today's teenagers. So what we need every moment is focus and presence. Most of the times you'll need one of those. But when both of these come from the base of a still mind, right? Still mind, still emotions, and still body, then you're able to engage deeply. That's why we saw it, engage to what needs to happen in that particular moment, right? So whatever we are practicing, stillness, meditation, everything, right? Ultimately, it needs to get us to this situation. Presence is needed in situations that actually require rigorous, structured thinking. So you start off with that particular settled mind, and then whatever you do happens much better, right? So that is what engage is. And then, why is it not moving? And then we talk about discern. What is discern? Discern is basically inquiry, right? Is the skill. And this is where reflection adds, right? So the meditation practice help us recognize I have a noise, help us feel peaceful when the noise settles down, right? And then it helps me be aware, moving into that response instead of reaction kind of a mode. But in spite of that, a highly intelligent person makes unwise choices, right? When their intelligence is quietly serving fear, ego, we talk, those are all the noises, right? Discernment is not intelligence. Intelligence operating from stillness rather than noise. I think the point here is on the slide is, I might be wonderful, I might be a learned, multiple PhD, multiple whatever, highly experienced person, very intelligent person, but I still could be making those decisions out of any of those past three noises, right? The mental noise, the emotional noise, or the physical noise, or even behavioral. I may tell a lot of things, but I may not react. I may not be acting, right? So that's not discernment. The intelligence that's operating from stillness, that is why the step of settle is so important, right? So discern, what is discern? Discern is basically, I boil it down to, why is it not responding? 5 discernment questions, right? So this is where reflection happens. Is it a fact or story? Anytime I do, what actually happened and what has my mind added to it? For example, in my daughter's case, the fact is I know he or she is kind of using the mobile more than what is needed, maybe a lot more scrolling than what is needed. Like that is the fact. What is the story? Oh my God, how should we make them stop doing this? Why did Meta create Instagram and Facebook and whatever, or YouTube, Google create all this? So all those, that's a story. But what is the fact? The person is using the mobile a lot more than what is needed. Second, fear or clarity, right? So I have this tension. Oh my, what's happening to these kids? Why are they using so much? So all those are the story, right? Immediately there is fear. Fear contracts and hurries. Clarity feels spacious. How do you feel this fear or clarity? Because your body tells you. When you are in fear, when you are in challenge, when you are anxious, there will be some kind of a body signal. So what does the body say? Urgency. Clarity, you feel a lot more spacious. You feel a lot more relaxed. You be a lot more peaceful. But when there is a deadline, when there is anger welling up in you, when there is frustration, when there is helplessness, your body will tell you. That's the third signal that you need to look at. And then you take a pause, just 3 silent breaths, or a few moments, or just close your eyes, whatever it is, right? And at the end of it, if what your mind is saying is true, that needs to be acted upon, it will continue to be true. But in most of the cases, oh, this is not a really big issue, right? Then your mind calms down. So you don't need to do much about it. Then your action changes. And then you know what is the right action to take. And and when we act, that's the most important thing. Again, that is where wisdom comes in, right? Our intellect or our feeling also comes in. Can I act and let go of the outcome? Right? Am I going to act just to prove myself right, just for someone to recognize me, or just to protect my ego? Can I act and release means can I act and release the outcome? So I mean, we know all our spiritual scriptures talk about it, right? Letting go of the outcome. So 5 questions, right? Anytime it's so you may not be using all these for every choice that we make, but consciously, unconsciously, subconsciously we do that. But these 5 questions are important when we want to take any key decision, changing my job, choosing a partner, initiating a project, right? Going and talking to a particular customer, whatever it is, trying to sell something. What is the strategy I need to use, right? So it all depends on basing things on fact, basing things not on fear, right? Going with a clear mode. What does your body say? And is it true? Is it the right thing? And I know there are a lot of other books that talks about a different set of questions, right? And then can I do this without worrying about the outcome, letting go of the outcome? And finally, the action, right? Discerning is internal and acting is external. The difference, the gap between them is what that was because clarity was being marred by the noises, right? And the most common failure. So people who continuously practice, do a lot of the spiritual practices, the reason that they're not right because they're not able to discern things right. Most of those discernment happens because of some one of those noises, right? So they knew, for example, most of the time we know the conversation should happen, but we avoid it, either in the guise of equanimity, either in the guise of things will work out, right? And they knew the boundary was right. They knew that what they need to do is clear, but they were not able to see through. One of the noises was always affecting. So when you go through this whole loop, right, settling down, then asking these 5 questions, and then getting into this. In fact, I remember in one of my initial classes, I used to talk about what Buddhists talk about analytical meditation. And it is there in this book, The Mind Illuminated, as well. So when you have a problem, you have that problem and sit in meditation, pretty much very similar to what this talks about, right? You observe your feeling, you see what your body tells you. You have a question, there'll be multiple options. You go through the options one by one. And then invariably at some point, some of the options may not work. Again, the thing is you will not get an answer in that particular same sitting. Right? There'll still be some open things, then you go back and sit. So that is where tapping into your inner intelligence happens. So acting consciously, right? And again, as I said, what would I do here if I am not afraid of the outcome? And then you are responsible, like Krishna says, right? You are responsible for acting well, but you are not in control of the result. That is where letting go of the result of what you do is what matters, right? When you're holding on to it, then you're not letting the intelligence to work through you. So you're just holding on to something that's still obstructing. It's still a cloud that mars your intelligence, right? So the test of a wise action is not its intensity, but its fit. Is it appropriate for that particular moment? Which is what we're talking about. I might be deciding something based on some X or 10 different logical things that are happening. But is it appropriate for that particular moment? And that is where being spontaneous happens. When we are still, when you are still without any of those noises, the words that you need to speak automatically come out. The things that you need to do automatically come out, or the behavior that needs to happen automatically come out. But when any of those noises mar it, then that's where action doesn't happen. All right. So I think, yeah. And then um, how do we cultivate these practices? Again, very common. All of us have done it. Then I've just coined it in terms of return, remain, and reflect. Return is our morning meditations. Any meditation, you return your attention to your breath every time the mind wanders. Similarly, you return your your behavior to that wheel that I showed you, that 5 things every time you need to make a wise choice, right? Remaining mindful throughout the day, remaining aware throughout the day, remaining aware or mindful when you are eating, when you are walking, when you're having that conversation, deeply in listen, remaining aware. And then reflecting on the day's activities, right? We all do that. Reflecting on what happened, what did not happen, why did it happen, why did I behave, why did my body respond? Was I tired? Did I not have clarity? I had clarity, but in spite of that, why did I do it? So there was some noise happening, right? So all of us have been doing the practice. So we know that the morning sitting that we do with stillness beats, right? And it's about being mindful of what is happening, being in that focus or presence during that difficult conversation is what really matters, right? And that during the conversation. All right, so we will kind of close. So I put all these all this content in this website called stillwise.in, right? And any of you can go up and look up if you've not looked up, if you've not heard through one of my Pyramid Valley announcements. So stillwise.in is basically that. And it also talks about those three practices: return, remain, and reflect. All right. And the interesting thing is it's kind of appropriate for corporate professionals. It doesn't mention too much about meditation, mindfulness. So the three practices: you return your attention, return to your attention, remaining aware, and then reflecting, right? And then I've also added something called a Stillwise index. So you can send that link to people to kind of gauge the amount of noise that they have in their mind. It gives you a score between 0 to 4. And the recent stillness retreat, I said, if your noise level is more than 2, you should attend the stillness retreat, right? So you should tell them. So it gives you an analysis of where is your noise based on your behavior. And I want to have people try it out once every 2 weeks, right? To see the level of stillness, to see the level of noise, that noise level that they have. It's like the pollution level, right? It's like external pollution level. This is more about the internal noise level. All right. So with that, I know this is probably something, what I covered is a different way of looking at things that you already know, right? But it also gives us a way for us to communicate things in more simpler terms. That's what I felt. And then, in fact, the recent stillness retreat, my presentations, everything was focused on these. So each of those days, I covered one of the noises, and then we talked about these practices anyway. Start practicing from every time, and then in this retreat, one of the most important levers was silence, Mona. So some of you know, we've been through it. So even that kind of allows the settling down and allows it to happen. And then they carried the homework of focus, the engagement, the discernment, and acting as their homework. All right. So with that, I think I'm open to take questions for whatever time you have.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. That was really, simple but very profound. So I have one question, sir. Like you said, in while having difficult conversations, probably we will not have enough time to return, reflect, and then take the action. So in those situations, how are we supposed to make a wise action?
So difficult conversation, as I said, is your body will tell you, right? So the basic thing is about settling. So I can have the difficult conversation with a huge mind chatter, which is my mental noise, right? Mental noise, emotional noise, physical noise. But how do I settle? That is the second step, right? I recognize I have a noise. Recognize it's going to be difficult, but still I'm not able to. So settling down is when either observing your breath mid course or just feeling your body, right? You can't even observe your breath because you're listening to something, right? So feeling your body settles down. It moves you out of that thread of noise or the chatter of noise, right? And then if you are listening, if a difficult conversation, there are two things, as I said, you need to be absolutely present. When you're absolutely present, obviously there's no noise. So you're absolutely present. Now, how do you present? You feel your body, right? So, because your mind is engaged in conversation, in listening, and then listening to it fully, and then allowing your body to respond what it is. And the most important thing there, and all of us have practiced at different times, is it's about recognizing if there is noise and then doing the right thing to settle down before that noise shapes your action, right? And once you settle down, once you cut the noise, once I know, or once I consciously cut the noise, then whatever happens outside of that noise, once you kind of decide I need to do, then it shapes your behavior. You're able to act more. Earlier, I might be thinking, oh, should I say this or not? what will the other person think? Will it work or not? Will it trigger the situation? Right? But once you cut that noise by settling down, then moving into presence, then you exactly know that the point that you want to make. You'll still not go through those 5 questions in that particular instant. But the point that I'm going to make, I'm going to do it from a more settled space rather than a noisy space. And then that, in fact, this is another way you must have heard about this pain body. I must have spoken about it, right? So it's basically silencing the pain body. When I'm speaking things out of a settled mind, right, then the other person absorbs it much faster. That's why we talk about energy, right? I'm speaking it with a higher level of energy. The other person also receive it. Whereas I'm speaking it from a noise perspective of noise, the other person also will receive it at that diluted frequency or diluted strength, right? So same thing when we want to act. Also, most of the times, for example, I talked about the example. I'm in a meeting. I know I need to speak, but something in my mind prevents me from speaking. So now when I'm settling down, I know this is what needs to be done. Then I'm able to go courageously speak. That gap gives you the courage to speak, and that is what translates into action, right? So it's probably what we always do, but this brings you a little bit more awareness into, okay, there are 2 more steps, right? So let me be wise taking those steps. That is all. And it's like Patanjali says, it's abhyasa. Every time you keep doing, every time you keep doing, every time you keep doing, right? Discernment or a self-inquiry, whatever it is, it it automatically becomes a habit or a positive habit the way we do every time.
Right. So we cannot get into wise action immediately, right? So it takes time and practice to get
Yes,
there.
absolutely. So that is what it gives you the courage to do that over time. Correct. Yes. And also it relates to our life is full of choices, right? And then choices that are made with a high level of noise obviously don't tend to work the way that we intended, right? And that's why the wise choices is translating your intention into what you wanted it to happen, right? Into the outcome, though you don't expect the outcome, into the intended outcome or whatever it is. But again, the paradox is letting go of the outcome as well. That's the thing. So wise action is basically that. And the reason I wanted to come up with this framework is one of it is I know meditation helps, I know stillness helps, right? But a lot of times, even advanced meditation practitioners, including me, right? We take we take the wrong decisions, right? Our choices never go right, right? It's not about punishing yourself. Oh my God, I didn't do it. But again, a lot of things happen over the last few years, right? And you see, oh, I've been meditating. I know, I need to do what I need to do. I read so many books, right? But in spite of that, how did I get into that situation? Right? And then you go back and look at it. And then again, a lot of spiritual masters, Ramana Maharishi, everybody talk about this. And I thought maybe that was a missing piece for people to move from stillness to action. That is where this whole wise choice thing comes up.
Absolutely. So, like you have always been telling that meditation is just like a practice pitch. And when you are actually going through your day, that's when you test your mindfulness, awareness, and the choices that you make. So, yes, along with meditation, a lot of other works that we need to do. It's not just meditation. Meditation is the foundation for all the practices, but along with that, being consistent with our wise choices and decisions are very, very important. Thank you for covering this, sir. And friends, if you have any questions, please put it on chat or you can raise your hand and ask your question. And yes, so it was really amazing, sir. So I just wanted to also check about the stillwise.in. Are there anything else apart from this thing? Like it looks like a positive psychology website kind of thing. So what else can we look into it, sir?
So primarily it covers this, right? Stillness.in pretty much covers each of these noises in a bit more detail, right? So it probably not, I mean, the audience of Stillness Beats probably have covered most of those, right? They've already been through a lot of sessions and all that. So it's more for people who are new. I mean, getting people into meditation, people who are anxious, right? So the idea is you go refer to stillwise.in and I mean, identify why you are behaving a certain way, right? Think about noises. It talks about the noises. It talks about the wheel. I call it the stillwise wheel. So basically, if you need to make a decision, right, those are the things that you need to proceed to and do it. And it also has a measure of what is the level of your noise. And it talks about these three practices, right? As I said, return is more the meditation. Remain is about being a mindful. And how do you practice? And it gives you some guidance. I don't know. I mean, I'll probably want to kind of add a few audios for meditations and all that, but there are enough things happening. So basically, it gives you guidance on, oh, this is how you do meditation, this is how you be mindful, not mentioning meditation, not mentioning mindful and things like that. And then the reflection part of it offers you questions to reflection. So a little bit more to do on the practice part, but it provides anybody a framework, a more secular, non-spiritual kind of a framework for new people to get into the practice.
Yes, sir. So thank you so much. I don't think so there are any questions because it is very clear and
And because
very.
the people who are attending are already wise enough, so they don't have questions. Vikalji is very wise, so he probably doesn't have any questions. All right.
No, actually, our participants are like they have very less questions. They take away a lot of things, and we don't actually get more questions from participants, and
Got it.
they're
Yeah. Understood.
so. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And yeah, we have a hand raised by Vikil. We'll take that. Yes, Vikilji.
Good
Can
morning,
you
sir.
unmute?
Am I audible?
Yeah. Good morning,
Yes.
Kalji.
Good morning, sir. Am I audible?
Yes.
So it was really, fantastic session today, and it has really touched that complete spiritual journey, whatever we are going through for 365 days meditation, and complete blend of touching the corporate day-to-day life, and the examples and all whatever you have given are really eye-opening. We don't even think on those small fine-tuning of the things what we go through, but when we relate this, really fantastic. So I have one question that from last 2 days kind of I'm churning on something. Uh, when some situation comes, then people say, okay, just let it go. You use this word, let go, many times, and then some people say, okay, just ignore it. It is not necessary that you have to react and act and answer or each and everything. But what happens the moment at the first reaction you see that situation or whatever, it goes into your subconscious. And if you are ignoring or if you are just letting it go or accepting, you are doing from a conscious mind, but it goes there. So, how to, handle these kind of situations, because that will again come. It will keep bothering you, though you have ignored or you have let it go. So how to handle those kind of things, and what do we need to do for that? I know answer would be, keep doing meditation, but anything specific other than that?
No, I will not tell keep doing meditation. We're already doing it. See, that is where that in that moment wisdom, right? So, I mean, all of us go through this, things keep happening, but then like the same observation that you do. So that is where we'll have to feel what is it. I mean, I'm letting go. I'm ignoring it, right? Am I feeling good or bad? Is my body feeling good or bad, or is my whatever it is? Am I feeling good about it or bad about it? Right? Sometimes 2 or 3 times it happens. You might feel bad. Oh my God, I should have done that, right? The moment I should have done that, use the wheel. I mean, why do we think I should have done that? I should have done that to fix the problem or to get recognition or to whatever, make sure my business is running fine or whatever it is, right? You answer these. That's where you bring in inquiry, right? Usually we ignore or we let go, we allow things to happen and things like that. But that is exactly the problem that I found with myself as well as long-term meditators that I've seen, right? So that discernment, oh no, I need to act, right? What is my action, right? Is ignoring the right action? The moment I go through this wheel and say, oh, ignoring is right, then the next moment you will not be bothered by it, right? As I keep saying, stillness is nothing but indistractability. You shouldn't be distracted. Whatever any distraction, anything that bothers you is a distraction, right? Once I know the answer, this is a situation I don't need to handle, somebody will handle, or I don't need to be bothered by it. Once I clearly make it through those 5 questions, mentally, emotionally, physically, and then behavioral, I know this is what needs to be done, then it will cease to bother us, right? Either we are analyzing it with some noise and some stillness, or complete noise is when it continues to bother. The moment it doesn't bother you, why the 2 or 3 situation doesn't bother you. So I went through this discernment, and I know it is not by job. Things might be happening, but I don't need to bother, right? Once you make up your mind, then you'll not bother, right? Or no, I need to do something. I need to tell somebody, or I need to fix a situation, or I need to speak to somebody. You will get an answer, you will do it, and it will cease to bother you, right? Whatever happens after that, right? So you might tell them, that guy might be telling you it's none of your business, but then you did your act. You did what your mind, your body told you. You acted on it. Then it doesn't bother you, right? So that is where it helps. And sometimes there are situations where you'll not find that particular situation is bothering you after a few months, right? I need to take a decision whether I need to not avoid doing this thing, or doing a particular activity, particular job, particular work, particular assignment, particular project, right? Then you'll start getting doubtful. So again, how do I make a decision at that particular time? So that is where understand what noise it is, settle down, focus, present, whatever it is, and then ask these questions, and then decide on it, and then act on it. Right? The action becomes reality because you clearly went through all this stages, or all these steps, and then that's where your wisdom is speaking to you. So I'm very sure that gives you that conviction, right? Earlier will be this or that, but now I clearly know either I do that or don't do that, whatever may be the outcome, right? Whatever may be the outcome, I know I need to be doing this, I'll do it irrespective of the outcome. Earlier the outcome would have colored whether I do it or not. That way you're sure about it, and that itself brings you additional stillness. You'll realize that, right? So you can, I mean, to me, this whole point is about transformation, right? And then Patriji talks about this in one of the videos also. See, meditation, one of the important objective of meditation is change and growth, right? And if it does not bring change in behavior, if it does not bring change the way I live, if it does not bring growth, to me, growth in the sense not manifesting growth, but through my wisdom I grow. I know exactly what I need to do and not need to do, right? If that change is not happening in our lives, there's no point meditating for 20 hours, whatever, 20 years, 10 hours a day, whatever it is, right? And that could result in healing your body, healing your mind, changing the way you work. And to me, that is more the right way of creating things in your life, creating your reality, manifesting things in your life, right? Than a different, more passive way that a lot of books talk about. I hope it helps.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, sir. I think the practice on these aspects will definitely help. And definitely it was a very powerful and impactful, session today. And I'm saying that I am going to watch it, multiple times to start absorbing that, what the message is really has come out of this conversation today. Thank you very much. And deep gratitude to you, sir, as always.
Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you. And wonderful. So basically, I'd want each of you, I don't know, we are 20 of us right now, and some of them may look at it later as well. Each of us is try this in some of your important decisions, right? Something that you've not been able to do, something that you've not been able to decide. Try this practice, this 5 steps, and decide and see what it tells you. Is it making you a better person in changing your behavior and acting things or fixing things, whatever it is? I'd love to know the response when someone applies all this to their practice, all this to their decisions or daily life. Okay. With that, thank you very much, Prithvi. Thank you, Vikalji. Thank you, Sunil, and the entire team. It's always a pleasure being on Stillness Beats. And then I know you covered more than half the year, so less than half the year to go. and looking forward to that 365th day celebrations. Thank you very much, and see you next month.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. It is always a pleasure for us to have you and listen to your wisdom. We keep waiting for it, and today it was really profound, and we'll definitely put it into action. And maybe in the next your session, we will let you know how we actually, put it into
Yes,
practice.
I'd love to share.
Yes, sir.
Love to
Thank
share.
you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your time and energy and wisdom sharing. Thank you very much, sir. So, friends,
Thank you, everyone.
and see you all tomorrow again at the same time. Have a great weekend and enjoy your day. See you all. Thank you. Bye.